Do you have a case of the Mondays? Well, fear no longer, because we are here with the World Doom League to cure the case of the Mondays. I am Xenaero, bringing you Summer 2021 Week 5, the second to last game of Week 5, the Techno Vikings versus the Superchargers, here only on Map 32. Now, these two teams have had quite a run through their respective runs in the regular season, with the Techno Vikings sitting at 2-2 with a playoff berth already secured, and the Superchargers at 4-0, the only undefeated team in the league. Now, the Superchargers don't have anything riding on this game, so we may see their fourth debut, Fran. But let's talk about the Techno Vikings first. Now, they had a 2-0 loss to the Electric Bills last week, and a win here could put them as high as their third seed. Last week, team leader Caution was playing a mixture of defense and offense with 3 points on the board. 23 flag defense is the highest for the team, while Ghost Killer played a mix of defense and mid. 2 points on the board with 13 flag defenses, and Shane played a mix of mid and offense. With a small setback last week that evened out their record, Techno Vikings can finish their regular season strong. But they'll need a win here, and they'll secure home field for the first playoff round if they do. Matching up against the Superchargers, the Vikings are up against, the only undefeated team in the league, who are probably going to play their fourth this week, as rumor may have it, because they've already secured the number one seed. So why not? Now, can they exploit the fourth player on the Superchargers team, Fran? Can they exploit that as a weak point in the Chargers lineup? Team captain Caution will likely run here. He's proven to be a very technical runner over the years. So perhaps some tandem action with Ghost Killer to get the Superchargers defense off kilter. Synergy is very important on a map like this, with Ghost Killer expected to play mid. An abundance of frag power, his ability to cover runners is unmatched. Very strong player. Put him in a wide open field, and it's very tough to unseat him from that spot. Shane probably plays some defense this game. Sometimes teams leave their defenders on the island, and so it's important Shane can take attacks from Ralphus and company and still stand tall. Defense on this map, pretty much a last man stand. But we'll switch it over to the Superchargers now. They won 2-0 against Rip and Tear last week, so they can do whatever they want here. They still have to play their game, but the outcome of this game does not impact their standing at all, and they can still achieve a 5-0 record in the regular season before the playoffs begin. Last week, team captain Ralph played mid with 3 points and 24 flag defenses. Tigerians played offense with 6 points off of 39 touches, a 15% conversion ratio, and K. Blair played defense, 29 flag defenses with 5 flags allowed out. The Superchargers, having already secured their number one seed, I mean, we'll probably not see Tiger play. We will probably see Fran instead. But matching up against the Techno Vikings, they're going to, if Fran does debut, he'll need to either play mid or defense. Or, hey, you never know, he might be a runner. The Fran is kind of the wild card here, so that's the most exciting aspect of the Superchargers lineup as we might see it today. It'll be quite a test against a Techno Vikings team that is looking to secure their home field advantage. Ralph is expected to play offense. He's a very strong runner, and has a lot of experience here. He's played 10 rounds on this map prior to today, so there's a lot of experience for the team captain of the Superchargers. While K. Blair is expected to play, I would say mid or defense. Both positions require an ability to think and be positionally aware, and to not put the team at a disadvantage. And depending on what position Fran plays, a strong mid is required. So, we talked about the map a little bit. Let's show you the map.
Welcome to Map 32, Insane Gunslinger Compound. This map requires precision and stealth to get into the enemy base. Use the lifts with caution. On either side of the Mega Armor, at the center of the map, there is a pit with a large lift. It can be a hiding spot, or an alternative route. A top route leading out of the flag room allows for a runner to drop down below, or potentially rocket jump back up top on the other side. Matches are played in a best-of-3 format, where the team that scores 5 flag captures, or the team with the most flag captures at the end of 10 minutes, is the winner.
And that will do it for our preview of Map 32, Insane Gunslinger Compound. We'll be getting into the game server, and if you haven't already placed your bet, well, I think the time has elapsed for that. Let me get the betting odds for you real quick on our WDL Discord. Currently, the crowd does favor the Superchargers by 80 to 20%. Superchargers having 24 grand on the board with TKV 6 grand. So, and you can find the Discord link there as well as a link to our main website and our YouTube, where these vlogs do get uploaded. But in the meantime, it's game time. Currently, we have the 4th player, Fran, is waiting in the wings in the broadcast server. Thank you for joining us this Monday. Kind of an inconvenient time for a lot of players and people, but that's why we upload the vlogs to the YouTube. So if you can't be here, or if you can't slack off from work enough to open up the Twitch channel, watch a game live in progress, then you can always view it later on our YouTube channel. And if you're curious about the last game of Week 5 happening, that will be 11 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time. Translate that to however local time you like, or go to doomlink.org/matches for the page that will translate it automatically to your local time. Very useful tool, thanks to Superchargers player and website administrator K-Blair. Very useful feature for us, so we don't have to translate to 14 different time zones for all the players playing around the world, as it is the World Doom League. All members of Superchargers are in the server right now. I guess we're waiting for the Techno Vikings to file in. Probably getting in the last minute practice. Some things not covered in the video are a couple more advanced techniques that have been developed over the week, or at least have been shown over the week that we haven't seen quite as much before. The blue armor does reduce your incoming damage by 50%. And a runner who could potentially grab the flag and come out this way. You can make a tricky jump into the enemy team's pit down here, and then rocket jump with that damage reduction all the way up top here for a quick capture. We saw it a couple times in games earlier this week to great effectiveness, but it does require precision, because you can't change your angle midair. It's not Quake. This is Doom. You got inertia, and it's locked in as soon as your boots leave the ground. Something else we saw from a couple players is that you can make this rocket jump from here. You go backwards, you can make it fairly effectively across here, but if you get shot from below, your angle does change, because every hit you take in the Doom engine, your movement is adjusted. Other than that, not a whole lot in terms of advanced techniques to fall back on. There is a med kit here in the corner. We have seen a couple of runners kind of place their back to the wall about here and wait for either the way to be cleared or to draw out time, which can in itself be a very valuable strategy, because if players do drop down in here, they're taken off the board. They have to wait for this lift to come back up for them to get back in the base. So if you can draw a defender out, that's half the battle for yet another touch. Team Captain Caution now in the server. Ghost Killer follows suit. I don't know which teammate might be showing up here for the Techno Vikings, but both teams getting in the server, getting ready to roll. And as always, we at the World Doom League wish you a happy day. Happy Monday. Coming off the heels of the American holiday 4th of July. Hopefully you had an excellent celebration. And a prediction in team chat, in spectator team chat rather. Saying the Superchargers are going to win in 2 rounds. A win here in 2 rounds means that the victorious team does get 4 points on the board. A win in 3 rounds is 3 points. A tie is 2 points for both teams. A loss in 3 rounds is 1 point, and a loss in 2 rounds is 0. Very important for teams who are not the Superchargers, who have already clinched their spot in the playoffs. Or rather, their top seed, so they are guaranteed home field advantage no matter who their opponent is. But the Techno Vikings, those points are going to matter. Because you definitely want to get into the playoffs with a higher seed, because that means the enemy team has to play your home field map twice before they even see theirs. It's a best of 5 as we go into playoffs. So the format of best of 3 will change after today. And we'll be seeing the 4th horseman of the Superchargers, Fran, playing with K. Blair Ralphus on the Superchargers side, while Team Captain Caution is fielding Ghost Killer and Shane on the red team, the Techno Vikings. Players are required to demo. The last thing you want is to go into the playoffs with a demo penalty, a power play. We've seen it once this season already, but you definitely don't want to start off your playoff run with a power play where one of your players has to sit for 3 minutes or 1 capture, whichever happens first. But less about that and more about the Superchargers and Techno Vikings. We start off watching Fran. He's playing a more kind of back defensive role, peppering with the chain gun. Round 1 is underway. So if you're just joining us, you are in for all the excitement that the World Doom League can offer. Ralph, out with blue armor and some health, does drop down below. Not sure if any defender actually saw where he went. They definitely noticed him now, though. He has to take that lift. Tries to still back for that med kit, but cannot. Caution. Jumping up to his side of the... Oh, and intercepted and returned by Blair. Excellent last-second return from Blair to keep it at 0-0. Caution did get free and clear, however, of the base, and if he can do it once, he can do it again. Too many chargers in the base there. Ghost Killer does have blue armor. 50 health. Now down to 3. Cannot make it across to mid. 1 shot was all that mattered, and they were able to return it. Caution back up on the pedestal. All the touches against the Superchargers right now. A lot of offense going for TKV, which is what they need when they're playing a some would say suboptimal Superchargers lineup, which affords TKV an opportunity to bolster their standings going into the playoffs. But can they exploit it effectively? Ralph almost getting out with a flag there, but eating a rocket for his troubles. Watching Shane now take up a defensive posture, do some incoming damage, and wait for the lift to come up to finish the job. Overall, fairly defensive game. It is a tough map to run on. Caution, however, got into the base untouched. And he's looking for a route out, but didn't do anything when he dropped down. Instead, got shot, while Blair has the flag across and scores first blood in the first round. 1-0 in favor of the Chargers. Typical defender K. Blair now running flags, I suppose, in tandem with Team Captain Ralph, I believe. Switching over to Fran, his World Doom League debut, playing defense, and up against an enemy carrier. Caution vanquishes Fran and begins to move out to mid, but intercepted. Not a whole lot of play from the carriers being able to get out of the base and drop down into the pit, which created a lot of exciting plays in the Onslaught game we saw yesterday, which is up on our World Doom League YouTube account. So if you missed that, Ralph out of the enemy base with 13 health. What I presume is an intentional drop down into the pit. And it does provide you a little bit of hard cover, along with, more importantly, lack of a line of sight with the enemy team. And if that flag does get returned, Ralph has to capture, and he sure does. Returned by Fran, captured by Ralph, 2-0 in the first round. Caution makes it out to the midfield before Blair drops the carrier and returns the flag. TKV unable to put a point on the board as of yet, but 6 minutes to go. That's a long time on map 32. Ralph is out with a flag, 60 health. Rocket jump no longer viable. And Ghost Killer is able to return the flag on the blue side of the map. Caution with a touch, but only a touch, as Fran returns the flag. Coming up on the halfway mark here. Still plenty of time for a team to make something happen. It's a kind of a low-touch map. Pretty defensive, even though it's very wide open and favors a runner getting out of the base. But getting out of the base is half the trouble. And not a whole lot of contact between the two teams. Large and sprawling map. Not a whole lot of intersecting routes. With a line of sight from corner to corner up top. Chain gun does some work. Moving over to Shane to watch some of TKV's defender at work. And he missed the lift jump that Blair did, allowing him to touch the flag and bring it out to mid, but not a whole lot of resource at Blair's disposal there. 30 health and not much of a hope. Cornered by a chain gun. Caution dropping back to help clear the base, and then makes that jump from the top to the larger lift. Ralph with blue armor and low health. Not a whole lot of time to go for that med kit without being cornered again. Can't make it up the lift in time. Blair with 12. Not much you can do there. Sniped from below with a shotgun blast to the forehead. Caution out to mid. Taking that lift drop down. A little shimmy there, but too much health on the defender he blasted. Probably had mega armor. Ghost Killer dogged by two defenders in the blue team. Taking a look at the scoreboard, the frag discrepancy favors TKV by about 13. Not a huge margin, but should be enough to create some openings. Ralph with a rocket jump up top on the supercharger side should be able to be picked up by Fran and escorted the rest of the way. It is. The base is clear. 3-0 now for the Chargers. There's a lot of pressure on TKV at this point to get flags out, to start converting some flags. They may have no choice but to clear the benches and send everyone to the Chargers base. But the offense generated from Ralph and Blair has prevented them from moving up with unison. Caution does get a flag across, though. If they can return that, that's a score. But I think we just caught a glimpse of a defender in the base. Blair able to return the flag last second. Oh, and then Blair picks up the dropped TKV flag up top on the edge of the upper route. Takes out two on his way there. Got a lot of health and armor. Good enough for another run. That's 4-0 for the Superchargers. While we covered Blair, Ralph rocket jumped up top in a blistering offense to end round 1, 5-0. Even with Fran, his rookie debut. Superchargers were untouched. TKV could not rally in time. What kind of change could TKV make going into round 2? They have about 35 seconds to figure it out. Not getting points on the board for TKV in the standings this game could cost them their home field advantage. Superchargers deploying a very strong offensive lineup that did not allow TKV to move up in any way, shape, or form, at least not without losing their flags very quickly, which is what we saw towards the end of round 1. But enough about the first round. Let's talk about the second round as we get right into it. In this best of 3 series, TKV on the edge of losing this 2-0. They're going to need to do something, change something. While Blair has blue armor and fails that end-to-end lift jump. We just talked about how getting hit can alter your momentum. Caution is out up top with 40 health. Narrowly dodges some enemy rockets that force him down into the pit. Vanquishes Fran, but Ralph is right next to him with a return, allowing Blair to score 1-0 in the second round. And they're able to narrowly return that flag before it escapes the base, allowing Blair to drop back and start clearing out more stuff. Ralph has 40 health down below in the pit. Does the enemy team know that he dropped down there? It's become a pattern that they might be able to recognize, and I think they did in time. Caution returning the flag. Only 1 minute into round 2, we've already seen a score. Kind of fixed the mold of most league games where the first round is typically a little bit more defensive. Teams feeling each other out. Ghost Killer and Blair out respectively out the enemy team's top side. Blair getting a lucky spawn after that self-kill there. But doesn't hit the lift jump. It's picked up by Fran. It's up on the lift. It gets returned. Great return from TKV. And Ralph is hounded down. Caution knowing exactly where he was. But that took Caution off the board for defense, or even the entire map in general, for a period of maybe 20 seconds. Having to traverse that pit and the lift to get back up into the board. Brief touch there. And no sooner did we try to switch to another player than Blair has the flag again. He's able to get the lift jump, but enemy flag carrier Caution waited in the base for Blair and won that 1v1. It's a mutual return now. Parity for both teams, but TKV is down a point. They have to get something going. They have to get, they just have to get something rolling. Like, TKV needs offensive pressure. But it's hard to do that when your flag is never at your pedestal. Ralph already across. Ghost Killer is up top. I don't know if he realized the enemy flag carrier, Ralph, is there, who gets him with a rocket, while Ghost Killer's attention is focused elsewhere. 2-0 for Superchargers. I mean, I'm not sure what to say about TKV right now. They're not able to get any synergy going. It's tough for them to reply to runners getting out of their base at all times. But Shane is able to defend that time. That should be the key for the Vikings to start pushing forward, to get that momentum rolling. Shane unable to land a shot there, but Caution drops him into the pit. Multiple players in the pit. The more Vikings that drop down in there, the more they get taken off and are unable to respond in time to things that are happening elsewhere on the map. Caution, we barely were able to switch to Caution in time to see him go down. Unable to get out. Ralph again dropping that flag. into the pit while trying to cut the corner up top. He might be able to pick it back up. No, it got automatically returned after that 15-second delay. Moving over to Ghost Killer, one of the top fraggers in the league. Doing chain gun work there, denying the enemy team blue armor, which even if you don't make a successful run for it, denying an enemy team that offensive capability is very important. Timing blue armor, while not as effective as, you know, timing a Quake power-up, is very effective in Doom CTF. Ghost Killer rocket jumping down into the pit, while Blair is out with the flag on the other side of the map. It makes the lift jump, and that's 3-0 for the Chargers. Pressure, like, I mean, the nails are getting driven into the coffin of the Vikings right now. Blair with a rocket reset. Well, Ghost Killer's out. Unable to get the carrier, but he's being chased himself. Gets one, but he has another player with a shotgun bearing down on him. One shot away from dropping. Blair is able to return it for Ralph to convert it to 4-0. There's not a whole lot of hope for the Vikings at this point. But again, we don't know. We won't know until the game tonight which team the Vikings are going to end up playing. This week has been so far up in the air as far as playoff goes. Every team prior to their week's game, their week 5 game, was very capable of making playoffs. But this week saw 2 teams get eliminated. And even as of now, we don't know what the matchups will be until after tonight. But great return from Shane to allow Caution a conversion. 1 flag on the board for TKV. They're going to need 4 more. And what a rocket from Ralph while also getting blasted midair. Catching Caution in the teeth, but Caution getting a respawn right at the flag rim. Yeah, you can't call it a shutout if they got 1 flag on the board, right? Ralph not enough health out front. The flag is dropped at middle. But again, even touching the flag is like you have to devote somebody to go return it. The Vikings are not able to really dedicate that much offensive power. But Caution's out. If he can get that coverage from Ghost Killer and that base is clear, well, Fran in his WDL debut, sitting on a lift, waiting to go up and touch the flag, returns his team's flag at the last second. Blair shot off track there, forced to go into the pit, and the flag's returned. Good chain gun work there from Ghost Killer. And Shane shot from behind as Blair took a different route. While Shane was expecting Blair to come up the tall lift, Blair was able to get it across. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the round. It's still 4-1 in the second round with the Superchargers having won the first round 5-0. They're repeatedly getting the flag across. It may only be a matter of time until this map is shut out 5-1. Or it may be a time limit victory. But either way, the Vikings, their hopes are drawing slimmer and slimmer. Because they're just not getting the flag out. Blair overshooting that rocket jump. Forcing a reset. Ralph with 10 health in the pit. Could this be the final flag of the game? And you hear Caution coming up on the right side here. Can't jump up in that window. That is a no-go zone. While Ralph is in the base, Caution is in the blue side pit. And Blair's able to return it, resulting in a capture for Ralph, 5-1. That'll be it. TKV will garner 0 points as they try to achieve a better seed. So that'll do it. I mean, the Superchargers ending 5-0 in their regular season. A great run from Ralph, K. Blair, Tiger, and Fran. As fielding Fran did not prove to be as much of a weak point for the Vikings to exploit as was initially thought. So we'll be saying goodbye to the Techno Vikings. They'll be ending their regular season, with a 2-3 record, while the Superchargers continue being undefeated. That's pretty crazy, honestly. And I don't think, and Superchargers have not even been taken to 3 rounds. So as we go into the playoffs, the number 1 seed has not even had a round taken off of them or had a round tied. So they are the team to beat, while the Techno Vikings will remain with 8 points, firmly in 6th place as of right now, and could drop even further, as later today we have the Docent Franks and Wasted Potential game happening at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. And those 2 teams are below the Techno Vikings, taking up 7th and 8th place, respectively. And depending on how that match goes, I mean, they could even drop TKV down to a potential 8th spot if they tie. So we'll be seeing that later today. But as of right now, thank you all for hanging out on this lovely Monday afternoon. And we'll be playing you out, but be sure to show up tonight for the final game of Week 5 of the regular season. The final regular game before we get into the playoffs, where everything will matter. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your Monday.